Have you ever started talking to someone and felt excited, but also a little unsure about what their behavior really means? Sometimes the talking stage can feel confusing because nothing is fully defined yet. A person may seem interested one day and distant the next. But not every confusing moment is a warning sign, and not every red flag is dramatic. In this video, we will look at the early signs worth noticing, why they matter, and how to understand them calmly. Welcome to Love for Beginners. Today, we're exploring a question that stands behind almost every human experience. Red flags at the talking stage, and what happens when this part of life becomes confusing, missing, or difficult to understand. Let's get into it. The talking stage is the early phase where two people are getting to know each other before a relationship becomes clear or official. It can happen through texting, social media, school, work, friend groups, dating apps, or everyday conversations. It is often exciting because there is curiosity, attraction, and possibility. But it can also be confusing because expectations are not always clear yet. A red flag in the talking stage is not always something extreme. Sometimes it is a repeated pattern that shows a lack of respect, honesty, consistency, or emotional maturity. The goal is not to become suspicious of every small mistake. People are human. They get busy, nervous, distracted, and imperfect. The goal is to notice patterns early so you do not ignore signs that may become bigger later. One of the first red flags is inconsistent communication that leaves you feeling constantly unsure. This does not mean someone must reply instantly or be available all day. Healthy people have school, work, family, friends, hobbies, and personal time. But if someone is warm one day, disappears without explanation the next, then returns as if nothing happened again and again, it can create emotional confusion. Interest does not have to be intense, but it should not feel like a guessing game all the time. Another red flag is when someone only communicates when it is convenient for them, but shows little interest in your world. They may talk mostly about themselves, their problems, their plans, or their needs, while rarely asking about you. A healthy early connection includes curiosity from both sides. It does not have to be perfectly equal every second, but over time, both people should feel seen and included. Pressure is another important sign to notice. In the talking stage, no one should pressure you to move faster than you are comfortable with. This can include pressure to reply immediately, share private information, spend more time together than you want, or make emotional promises before trust has been built. Real interest can wait. Respectful people allow connection to grow at a pace that feels safe for both sides. A related red flag is ignoring boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They are basic limits that help people feel safe and respected. If you say you are not comfortable with something and the person keeps pushing, joking about it, or making you feel guilty, that matters. The talking stage is where you learn how someone responds to small boundaries. If they cannot respect small limits early, bigger limits may become harder later. Another sign is when someone makes you feel bad for having a life outside them. At the beginning, attention can feel flattering, but if a person becomes upset whenever you are busy, spending time with friends, studying, working, or taking space, that is not healthy closeness. A relationship should not begin by shrinking your world. Healthy connection adds to your life. It does not demand that everything else disappears. One common early warning sign is too much intensity too quickly. Sometimes people say big things very early, such as acting as if you are the only person who understands them, talking about a serious future before they truly know you, or making you feel responsible for their emotions right away. Strong attention can feel exciting, especially when you want to be chosen, but real connection needs time. Fast intensity is not always the same as genuine commitment. The opposite can also be a red flag. Emotional coldness mixed with just enough attention to keep you interested. Someone may give small moments of warmth, then become distant, then return with compliments or attention when they feel you pulling away. This kind of pattern can make people feel attached because uncertainty creates emotional tension. But healthy interest should not feel like chasing small pieces of care. Pay attention to how someone talks about other people. If they constantly insult everyone they used to like, blame every problem on others, or describe themselves as always innocent in every conflict, that may show a lack of self-reflection. Everyone has difficult experiences, and not every past situation is equal. But a person who never takes any responsibility may struggle to communicate honestly when problems appear between you. Another red flag is disrespect disguised as humor. Teasing can be playful when both people enjoy it, but it becomes a problem when someone uses jokes to put you down, embarrass you, test your confidence, or make you feel small. If you say something hurt you and they respond with, "You are too sensitive," instead of trying to understand, that tells you something important. Respect is not only shown in serious moments, it is also shown in small comments. Watch how they respond when you disagree. The talking stage is not only about fun conversations, it also reveals how someone handles small differences. Do they listen? Do they become defensive immediately? Do they mock your opinion? Do they try to control the conversation? A healthy person does not need to agree with everything you say, but they should be able to respect you while seeing things differently. Another sign is when their words and actions do not match. They may say they are interested, but never make effort. They may say they respect you, but ignore your comfort. They may say they want honesty, but avoid simple questions. In early connection, words can be easy. Consistent behavior is more meaningful. Do not only listen to what someone says, notice whether their actions support it. A big red flag is feeling like you are always auditioning for basic attention. You may feel you must be funnier, prettier, cooler, calmer, or more available just to keep them interested. This can happen when the connection activates insecurity. But a healthy talking stage should not make you feel like you are constantly performing. You should be able to be normal, honest, and human. Another thing to notice is secrecy that feels unnecessary. Privacy is normal. Nobody has to share everything immediately. But if someone hides basic parts of their life, avoids simple questions, gives confusing explanations, or makes you feel like you are not allowed to ask anything, it can create uncertainty. Trust grows through clarity, not through constant mystery. Texting can make red flags harder to read because tone is missing. A short reply is not always disrespect. A delayed message is not always rejection. But patterns still matter. If someone regularly communicates in a way that leaves you anxious, ignored, or confused, it is worth paying attention. You are not asking for perfect texting. You are looking for basic consideration. Projection can also make red flags harder to see clearly. If you really like someone, you may explain away behavior that does not feel good. You may think, maybe they are just busy. Maybe I am overreacting. Or maybe they will change once we get closer. Sometimes those thoughts are fair. But if you are constantly making excuses for the same pattern, your mind may be protecting the fantasy instead of seeing the reality. At the same time, it is important not to label every uncomfortable moment as a red flag. Nervousness is not always a red flag. Shyness is not a red flag. A person needing space is not automatically a red flag. A misunderstanding is not always a red flag. Healthy dating requires patience and communication. The question is whether the person responds with respect consistency, and care when something is unclear. A useful way to think about red flags is to ask, does this behavior make connections safer or more confusing? Does this person respect my pace? Do I feel free to be myself? Can I communicate without fear of being mocked or punished? Is the effort mutual? Do their actions match their words? These questions can help you stay grounded instead of relying only on excitement or anxiety. The talking stage is not meant to be a test you have to pass. It is a time to observe whether two people can connect in a healthy way. Attraction matters, but it is not enough. Attention matters, but it is not enough. What matters most is whether the early connection includes respect, honesty, emotional safety, and mutual effort. In the end, noticing red flags is not about becoming cold or suspicious. It is about protecting your peace while staying open to real connection. The right kind of attention will not require you to ignore your discomfort. The right kind of interest will not make you feel small, pressured, or constantly uncertain. Healthy love often begins with simple signs: respect, consistency, kindness, and the feeling that you do not have to lose yourself to be chosen. Thank you for watching Love for Beginners. Every relationship starts with understanding, both ourselves and the people around us. To explore more topics like this, support the channel by subscribing and leaving a like. Until next time.